So Mormons, right? You've heard of them. It's the Church of Latter-day Saints, or LDS Church, or LSD Church, as I like to call them. And they have some very interesting beliefs. Apparently God, whom they call the Heavenly Father, was at some point a dude named Elohim, and he lived on another planet, and he was the son of a god, like everyone on that planet. And he was so good and such a virtuous Mormon that when he died, he was made into a god of his own, and he was given a planet to rule over. For a long time, Elohim lived on a space station with his thousands of big-titty animu wives. And as any man would do in such a situation, he made a lot of children. And those were all the souls that he made. They all exist, all the souls that are going to be born, all the souls that were born in the past. That's his children. They already existed in a sort of pre-existence, right? On this space station. And so he decided, what are we going to do with all these souls? Well, we're going to do the same thing that everybody else does. We're going to build a planet. And then we're going to put them there, and we're going to watch what happens and if they want to try to attain godhood. And his two highest ranking sons, Jesus and Lucifer, had a dispute with him and with each other over whether or not they should go the old-fashioned route, which is what Jesus suggested, where they would give them the free will of not attaining or attaining godhood, whereas Lucifer wanted to force all of them to be Mormons and eventually attain godhood. Elohim went with Jesus' plan, which pissed Lucifer off, so Lucifer talked to like a third of the souls and managed to convert them into becoming his demons. And then another third of the souls did nothing, and another third of the souls sided with Jesus. Because here's what happens in Mormonism when you're a good boy and a virtuous Mormon and you've managed to purify all your thetan levels, is that when you die, you get judged by a tribunal and you become a god of your own, and then you get your own thousands of animu wives. So there was this massive war between the good souls and the demons, and the goodest of the good souls, they were the people who were then on Earth going to be born into Mormon families so they can go on their tryout period before they would eventually be able to ascend into godhood. But hold up! What happened to the people who remained neutral? Well, I'm glad you asked. They became black. Yes, this is the official Mormon explanation for why there's black people. They're the people who remained neutral in the conflict between the devil and Jesus. And this was their scriptural justification for, slavery, because the Mormons, early Mormons were, at least Brigham Young was a big slaver. He loved them slaves. And though blacks could become Mormons, they could never become priests or achieve the godhood thing. Though this has been recanted since, because the leadership of the Mormons just went, you know what? I heard a divine commandment last night, black people are now equal. Which very conveniently coincided to being just after the success of the civil rights movement. So what you may have gleaned from this is that what the Mormons believe is utterly insane. And this is true. However, there is no difference in the amount of insanity between what the Mormons believe and what all the other religions believe. I don't think that what the Mormons have is more outlandish than what the Catholics have. Maybe even a little less outlandish, because it at least tries to do like a sci-fi explanation of things, you know? So that's where we come round to the actual topic of this video, which is, I believe that Mormons are actually becoming a legit religion in the world and no longer just a cult. And the outlandishness of your beliefs is not a factor by which you can judge something a cult or a religion. All beliefs of all religions are outlandish. And here's the biggest thing about why I don't think Mormons are a cult, at least anymore, and we'll come back to that. You could talk to a Mormon for a long time. You could even be friends with a Mormon for a long time. And as long as you don't talk about religion, you would never know that they are a Mormon. One of the key hallmarks of a cult is that they will try to isolate you from everyone else in your life. But for the most part, modern Mormons don't really care. They do actively fraternize with outsiders to their religion, as do most other religions. And even though you have cult-like communities within the Mormon religion that are against fraternization with outsiders, this is true for all religions. This is true for Christianity. If you have some fucking small town in the south of the United States where everyone who isn't a Christian, you can't talk to them, and everyone who isn't a Christian of our particular church, also as very suspect. This phenomenon is certainly more prevalent with Mormons, but I think that is mostly a product of the fact that they are a young religion, which was initially a cult. It was very based around their central leader, Joseph Smith. It was very isolated, it was very we do our own thing and we don't like the outsiders. But that has, as the religion and Utah as a state has become more cosmopolitan, and Mormons have gone into the film industry and literally every industry anywhere and have begun building missions, especially in Asia. There are so many Mormon missions in Asia that they have become a lot more open, and their cult-like structure is now, with the tiers and all that, is now localized to the highest tiers of the Mormon church. And also, of course, some smaller subgroups of Mormons. And I do realize, just to reiterate this, that there are a lot of cultish Mormon communities. There are those Mormon communities where if you turn away from Mormonism or if you turn away from the community, they will shun you. Your family and your friends will treat you as an outsider, and they do not like outsiders. However, this isn't something that is in any way unique to Mormonism. Christianity has the very same thing, and Christianity is viewed as a mainstream religion. So why should Mormonism not also be viewed as a legit religion? I really think that right now, Mormonism is in a transitionary period where it loses a lot of its cult-like trappings, and eventually you will have only the extremists and those kind of camps, and mainstream Mormons, which are a growing religion, will be just as normal as any Christian. They will just have different beliefs and wear different underwear. It's like the Vatican. Most Catholics revere the Vatican as the special place where the leader of their religion is, but most people in Christianity, in Catholicism, don't do everything the way the Vatican does. They do not have as entrenched ritualism as the Vatican does, right? And eventually I think that Salt Lake City in Utah will become, precisely for Mormons around the world, what the Vatican is for Catholics around the world today. A place of worship and an important place, but certainly not the paragon example of how the religion works everywhere. So that was just my weird rant on Mormonism. This is something that has been floating around my head for a long time. Thank you for watching the Mormon.org ad that was probably in front of this video, because they just plonk that down everywhere these days. Also, thank you very much for watching this video. Do all the things with the video. Give me your opinion on whether or not the Mormons are a cult in the comments, because I think there might be some perspectives that, especially from personal experience, that would be very interesting to see down there. Consider supporting me with the currency of your choice on Patreon. Doesn't matter, it all gets converted into dollars anyway. Consider watching the latest live stream from yesterday. We actually ended up having a fantastic conversation about a lot of futurist topics, and I got a huge fucking donation, which, even though I knew about it beforehand, I still cannot fathom it. In that spirit, believe whatever you want to believe, so long as you don't become a cult, and see you around, cunts.